Hello again, everyone, and welcome to our webinar Toloka 101. My name is Anna. I'm the manager for corporate education in Toloka. Today, we will talk about Toloka as a platform, what you can do, how our platform works, what instruments you can use, and also we will demonstrate you a live demo on sentiment analysis. And 1 second, sorry. Yeah, so like our agenda for today is that first we will talk more about Toloka, then the demo, and at the end we will have the Q&A session where you will be able to send your questions. We have the chat box and we have the Q&A box as well, and we are going to answer them live after all like the presentations. I would like to introduce you today with our speakers. We have Olga Megorskaya, our CEO of Toloka. Hello, Olga. And we have Rosmiyana, she is our customer success manager in Toloka. And me, I already introduced myself. I will be the moderator of this webinar. One more thing I would like to say before we start is that except this webinar that we're going now to have, the Toloka 101, we also have many other educational activities. We have several webinars for beginners level like this today. We have for more advanced level where we talk more about some more theoretical things, and we demonstrate you more use cases and have some practices. We have tutorials where it's more about the lecture, and we also invite you to make with us some practice. You can see that we have some collaboration as well for tutorials, and we are of course attending many huge popular conferences like Austin Startup Week and other. Now, and of course, you can now actually find all this information if you join us in our Slack community. You can see now in the slide the QR code, and also you will be able to find this QR code later at the end of our presentation. And now I would like to give the floor to Olga. Olga, are you here with us? You can share your screen.
Yeah, thank you. Just a moment, I will share the screen. Please let me know. Do you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm really happy to see you all here. My name is Olga, and I would like to say a couple of words about our industry and about Toloka, and also to maybe have a chance to know each other, you and us, better on this webinar. So thanks once again for having joined us. In general, we always say that the label data is one of the missing pillars of the whole AI industry, because it relies on like three major vectors like algorithms, hardware, and the data. There are different estimations, but those of you who have ever tried actually dealing with AI-based products probably have noticed how much effort is actually devoted to the question of training data, of obtaining it, of cleansing it, of producing it on a regular basis, because you need data to train your model on, you need data to validate the quality of your models, you need data to control how the model actually works in production when it's been deployed. And if you're working in some industry, you probably need this all to be repeated regularly on a regular basis in order to provide continuous improvement of the quality of your models. And this all falls into the problem and into the bottleneck of the training data. And one of the actually ironies of the modern world, I would say, is that what is called artificial intelligence, to how a big extent this artificial intelligence actually relies on data labeled by human, to which extent it relies on the human efforts, because especially like in the beginning, the majority of machine learning applications in the industry, they were mostly dealing with some automatically generated data out of clicks, out of logs of online behavior of users and something like that. But the further the industry develops and the further actually AI goes into offline, the more often we face the case when the only way you can actually obtain the data to train your models on is to label them by humans. And we see this trend only increasing. And in many industries and applications, you can actually not be better than the people. Like algorithms can never be better than the people who train these algorithms on. And the problem of providing a stable and high quality production of the training data labeled by human is a big bottleneck of modern AI industry. And we see Toloka as being actually one of the solutions for that. Before I share some of the story of Toloka, it would be really very interesting to hear about your background. To which extent do you work with machine learning production? Did you ever face the problems of producing data and data labeling for your cases? It would be very interesting to hear something about your experience. Please, you're very welcome to write in the chat. And meanwhile, I will share our experience, because like Toloka's roots come from Yandex, which is one of the biggest European technological companies. It provides a wide range of AI-powered products. Yandex initially started as a search engine, and back like 10 years ago, the search was probably one of the first big industries to start applying machine learning to producing the new algorithms of ranking of search results. And this is when the need of human data labeling arose. And so since that time, we have been I personally, for example, have been dealing with the problem of providing the machine learning or with the necessary amount of training data. And once the company was growing, new products were arising. It was not only search, it became like voice assistants, e-commerce, self-driving cars, and many other things. They all required training data, and we have been forced to derive a solution that would effectively solve these problems at first of all, like for ourselves, for our engineers. And that's how we have created Toloka as being an open crowdsourcing platform, which matches requesters on the one hand, so companies and individual researchers who have a need in data labeling, and Talokers who are just any person from any country all over the world can plug into the platform, find some tasks which are interesting for them, and perform them and earn some money. And Toloka, at the intersection of those two interests, actually operates as an intelligent platform which uses smart techniques of ranking and recommendation of the tasks for most relevant tasks to the most relevant Talokers. Gives the Talokers opportunity to rate requesters and provide their feedback on the tasks, also to give the Talokers opportunity to make an informed choice about the tasks they are willing to perform. and overall provides the optimal matching between demand and supply. We see our main features and our main values that we bring to the requesters in scalability of the process. This feature actually comes again from historically from the needs of the requesters that we have been trying to solve, because once you're dealing with constantly improving machine learning processes, you face the need in stable and scalable production of labeled data. That's why Toloka is able to fulfill this need with millions of talkers all over the globe. When I say millions, that is literally. For example, last year we had more than 4 million people who actually participated in the tasks and earned money on the platform. And we have hundreds of thousands of people actively performing tasks every month. So Toloka literally operates with millions of involved people from all over the globe. Second important thing, but when that we see our customers need is the speed of data labeling and obtaining the results. Because once the project is set up, Toloka provides the ability to receive the results within literally minutes, and this is what I think you will be able to see during our demo. It's of course accuracy and quality, and we constantly invest in methodology and tools for providing quality, especially again if we are dealing with millions of talkers. The only way to provide quality is to do it via automation and some technical solutions, which the team of Toloka is constantly improving. And of course, the cost efficiency, again, especially if operating on the large scale, it becomes an important issue, and the mechanisms of Toloka allow to have the projects labeled with reasonable costs. As I have mentioned, we have already quite a huge experience in the real industry. For the last 10 years, we have helped many different requesters and many different products which are powered by machine learning grow with the help of Toloka, and our use cases cover like the majority of possible areas of AI application. Here I mentioned some of them, but there are actually much more, apart from search and ride sharing, food delivery, self-driving, e-commerce, and many others. And many others to come further, because Toloka is a very flexible and customizable tool which can be used in different industries. When I have mentioned that we have a global crowd, I want to emphasize that this is an important feature of our platform. We have more than 100 countries with active population of talkers, and here I mentioned the countries with the most with the highest population of talkers as of now, and the top languages which we cover. But both the countries and the languages can be added upon request once we have a demand from some customers on the new regions to cover. And actually, being a global provider of crowdsourcing efforts has put some challenges to Toloka platform, and we are now establishing the solutions for them. That's why actually like the product is developing very fast. That's why even the screenshots from these slides, I did not see them in production yet, but they were just launched very recently. These are the challenges related with the verification of the languages. For example, if you have a global crowd and people speaking different languages, the customers would want to make sure that the people really do speak those languages. And that's why our team of linguists have developed unique set of language tests, which look something like that when the Toloka can choose the language test to pass to prove that he or she really speaks the certain language. And the tests look approximately like that. They are they are prevented from copying and automated translating and etc. because everything is done via images here, and there are lots of variety in these tests. So there are like anti-fraud techniques to prevent cheating on passing these techniques, and having passed such tests, our talokers obtain the skill which proves that they really have good skill in understanding and speaking certain language, which can be used by our requesters who are in need of talokers speaking different languages like Japanese or Swedish or Portuguese or whatever else. Then another thing related to like global workforce is one of the needs for the customers to launch multilingual projects. This is quite often the case that we see that you want to have the same project running on several languages, because for example, if you are you have a product which is operating on several different markets. And Toloka has also established a tool for automated translating of the projects into different languages. When the customer needs to create the project in one language and then press a button, and it would automatically be translated into other languages. So all that our possibilities and many others which Rosmi would show on the demo lead to the high variety of real life of use cases where you can apply Toloka. And here are several examples of real use cases, like, for example, the side-by-side comparison of 1,000 tasks can be done within 10 minutes using the crowd and some other examples. As I have mentioned, we invest a lot into the intelligent quality control. Toloka is a very technological company. We have technologies in our DNA, and actually the majority of engineers in Toloka are devoted to the questions of the quality on the platform and developing the mechanisms which can improve the quality of the labeled data which outcomes from the platform. Also, when we speak about the quality, it's not only about pure technological solutions, but also about the methodology and the understanding of the logic of how to actually create crowdsourcing pipelines. And we invest a lot into educational activities, providing some tutorials, writing scientific papers, and publishing them on the top conferences. And are continuously participating in world's top conferences in the sphere of AI. And we try to educate our customers to help them understand all the details needed to be able to set up effective data labeling collection pipelines using our platform. That's why we organize webinars and tutorials. We have an online Coursera course, and we offer grants and special pricing plan for the academia, for people who want to invest their efforts into researching this topic. I personally believe that this is one of the most important and the most underinvested areas in the modern AI. That's why we support the development in this area, and we encourage the use of our grants to provide the research on interesting topic. Please apply if you're interested in that. And I think this is a time when I pass the microphone to Rosmi to actually show in the real life everything that I've been talking about at the beginning. And do we have any? Yeah, Rosmi, I have stopped sharing my screen.
Thank you, Olga, very much. Yes, Rosmi, can you hear us? Are you here with us?
Yes, sorry, I was like
Great.
looking for the mute button here. So hi again, everyone. Very excited to be here to be showing you what we have on our platform. So I will run a short, I guess, tour to show you how things really look like on our platform, how it's easy to run things. So I will be running things via our interface, but please note that everything that I will be doing for the next 10-15 minutes can be done via API. So if you really like to code, don't worry, everything is accessible via code as well. And of course, we have a Python library. So today, as an illustration of what we do, I will walk you through a sample use case of sentiment analysis. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with this. So imagine this is applicable to build algorithm, to verify the performance of your model, to check things like customer review for e-commerce, whether people like the product, or even things like sentiment analysis for social media. So imagine that you either want to train a model or monitor the performance of your model, and you just have a set of data. Let me start sharing my screen. That looks like this. So for this case, I'm taking movie reviews. So imagine you have review text and review title. So you have this and you want to classify them into 3 classes, whether the sentiment is negative, positive, or it's just neutral. So some of these lines in the data set already have the answer. This we will use later to control quality, to check whether your performers are answering things correctly. But this is the general, again, take of what data we are dealing with. So you have a longer comment and you have a title of the comment to movies. So how do you put this out to the cloud, right? So we will attempt to build together an interface of a task that looks like this. You just ask the performer to read the text, and their job is to classify this into 3 things. Is it a positive, negative, or neutral sentiment? Aside for the task interface, we will also supply the performers, or we call them on our platform Tolokers, with instructions as to what they need to do. It's really quite simple. Read, and then is it negative, positive, or neutral? And you can also give more details as to what people need to do with examples. So we will walk through this later in the platform. So we will start from the basics. This is how our platform looks like. It's clean, simple to use interface. And when you start to create a project, we have a range of templates that are actually quite ready to use. I will preview one. You can see that it's pretty much ready. You just need to change the name of the classes, name of the buttons. And even for sentiment analysis, this is really quite ready. There's already the text field, there are already selections, and even like if type of logic is already in place. But just to again illustrate how easy it is to use our platform, I will actually do it in a slightly more difficult way. I will pick a blank template where nothing is here. So we start with creating an empty project. So in creating a project, there are a few things you need to put. You need to put the general information of the project, the interface, instructions of the performers, and translation. So in the general information section, you can write up the name of your task. So you can name this project. So is the review of movie positive or negative? So as I'm typing here on the interface, you see this card on the right changing. So that is how the project, the task, job looks like to the performer. So they see a card, they go to our app, and they just see a list of things that they can do to earn some money. And this is how it looks like exactly to them. And you can write descriptions there as well. I have a cheat sheet here that I'm not good at typing accurately without typos, so I will just copy pasting. So again, I modified some things here. It's already reflected on the right side here in the card. So this is what performers see on our platform. There's an option to create a private comment. So this is not seen by Tolokers. So this is like an internal node where you can put just who is in charge of your project, or just for you to remember what project is this. Once you're done with this section, we will move to the interface side. So we have two ways to create interface on our platform. That is the classic HTML, JS, CSS combination, or there is a more, to me, it's easier to use template builder. This is JSON based because I'm just not very good at this front end thing. Like I get confused as to which section is which, but probably some of you prefer that. So I will show you how to use our JSON based template builder. This can be used really easily. You don't really have to type much things. So as a reference, this is what we're trying to build. So there's a box here. Then there are really just two elements here. There's a box, there are two texts there, there's a title, there's the review, there's a question with 3 buttons, shortcut, and some validation. So we'll attempt to build that here by just pressing here. See, I press enter, and the options as to what component to add is like already there. So I'll just put group, and that is the title. Now that is a static content. I will change this to data input, and I will want to call that a title. Then inside, I actually have a text that is also dynamic. So I will make it a data input and we'll call it review. See, nothing is really showing there. So I can get back to my cheat sheet and put example data. So I can put that, and I can already preview how that looks like. Now we're halfway done there. I will remove this checkbox because I think I don't need it. So I'll just remove it. And I need to add, I probably want to make this a bit wider. And I want to add a question outside the box. So we just press on enter. And button is already there. I want 3 buttons because what we have is positive, negative, and neutral. So we'll just change these values. So positive, negative, and the value we're passing is negative, neutral, neutral. So we're almost there, except I need to change the question. And the question we have is, what is the sentiment of the comment? So I'll just type that in. Sentiment of the comment. So we are almost done there, and we can actually check there's a validation, and when you send that over, it is sent. The only missing element is a shortcut thing that we want to put in place. I can put that away. And the way we can do that, we call it a plugin on our platform. So I just assign keys to different values. I will say action set. And the element of the thing we were sending was, I think we want to change this as results. This is results. And I'm saying 1 corresponds to positive. So you see that already appears. Now I don't want to redo this. I'll just copy paste this quickly into 2 and 3 for negative and neutral. You see, it didn't take me very long to be creating this, even from scratch. And I can test this out that it works. So this is the thing we're getting. And there are validation there. You can change that comment as well. You can say, hint, you need to select an answer. And now you will have that modified. So after you create this interface, you can check what is the data specification. So just to check whether this corresponds to our data set here. So we have as an input title and review, as an output, we have something called result. So that looks correct to me. So I will go back here and just save this. Then there is the part that is instruction where you guide performers as to what to do. This is a usual text editor. You can use italic, underline, bold, but at the same time, this also supports HTML. So I just change this to HTML and I'm back to my cheat file. I just copy paste HTML and it shows how it looks like to performer. For some reason that is loading there, but we're essentially done. See, this is how it looks like for the performer. So when we're done, we just save this. Now there is this section called translation that is not mandatory, but the platform supports launching tasks in multiple languages. So I can say things like the original language is English. I can add many other translations so that the task will be displayed as per what is the worker, Toloker's language of choice. So that is not mandatory. So we just finish this. So we are done with creating the fundamentals of the project here. We already have the name of the project, we have interface, we have the data requirements, and we also have instructions. Now I'm going to show you the second part of launching a project in Toloka, which is called a pool. So just to make this clearer, I will name the pool. This is where we implement a complete set of quality controls. So this covers things from selecting your performer, determining the pipeline of the project that you have, putting quality control rules in place, selecting the number of overlap, determining price, and so on. I will walk you through this process. So after you name this pool, naming a pool, this is not visible to the performer. It's just a way for you to track your data batch. People like to name their pool with data batch numbers. Here, after you name the pool, there's a section to select the pool type. So I'm not gonna use this right now, but I just want to explain here that on our platform, it's possible to create a funnel or pipeline for performers where you make it mandatory for the performers, the Tolokers, to pass training first and then exam before accessing your live data. So for projects with higher complexity, this will be important because you want to make sure that your data is labeled only by those who you have established some trust with. So this is like how you do it. You can select that the pool type is training, it's exam, but right now I'm not using them because the project is quite simple. Now this is a section where you determine price. This price is set up per task suite or task page. So as an example here, we have like 5 comments to moderate. So when I say 1 cent, this is for the entire set. It's for 5, it's not for 1 box. So 1 cent is really the minimum price here. And this is what I'm setting. It's possible to set up dynamic pricing. So you can motivate Tolokers to deliver better quality by paying them differently based on their performers. But again, because this is a simple project, I'm not going to use that, but just bear in mind that it's an option. I don't have adult content, so I'm turning that off. Now I'm in the section of selecting performers to do tasks. So this is where you determine well, I guess it's self-explanatory who gets to do your task. So we have an array of filters there are some presets that you can do. There are things we call calculated data. It covers things like client, device type, OS, browser, and there are things like performer profile, skills. Skill is where you assign certain, well, I guess, again, because again, this is quite self-explanatory that you are selecting performers based on what they're good at, and you sort of determine this freely on your account, that you can add a new skill. Say you want to calculate somebody's skill in doing sentiment analysis based on control tasks. So that is entirely configurable on our platform. Now, I want to keep things simple, so I will just select the basic things that are required. So first I will put client, which determines what platform can be used to complete the task. By default, it's only web, but because I have adjusted the interface to be not so wide, it fits the mobile screen. So as an illustration, I can show how it looks like. This is how it looks like on the phone. So it's not too wide. So I will make it accessible from mobile. Then I need to add languages filter because my instruction was in English, the task is in English, I need to select English. And this is what Olga mentioned with previously, our newest feature on language verification. So it's really just a tick box here that I'm saying I want performers who claim to speak English, and those who have specifically passed the tasks provided by the platform. So it's really just a checkbox here, because this is something to do with understanding, comprehending sentences. So this is important in this project. So I'm putting a check mark there. So we are done with selecting performer. The next section we have is quality control. This is where we have really a lot of things we can put in place. So first there is setting up CAPTCHA frequency. Again, very self-explanatory. How often do we want to show CAPTCHA? Then there are many options as to what we can put in place. As an example, because we set up the frequency, I will put a CAPTCHA rule in place. I will say, look at the last 5 CAPTCHA that the performer answered. And if they have responded, I want to calculate this only if they've responded more than 5. Actually, I will change this to 10. So I will say, actually, I want to keep that an even number, 4. I will say, if they have responded more than 4 times and their correct responses is less than 75%, so they need to get 3 CAPTCHAs out of 4 correct, I will want to suspend the performer in the pool for 3 days for CAPTCHA reason. So that is one way you can set up quality control rule for preventing people who don't pay attention to the task. So CAPTCHA is a good tool. And basically this logic is the same for all other rules. So I can see, for example, I'm putting fast responses, we select the same rule. So you can see how this is very flexible. You can determine what is the window of calculating the correctness percentage you're looking at. You can change all the logic. You can change what action you will take depending on the rule. So I can try to also put fast responses rule. For instance, I can say one task page, it has 5. It should take at least 15 seconds to do it. If somebody has more than 1 fast response, I will suspend because of fast response. And you can track this later on as well. We have a lot more other rules here. So aside for fast response and CAPTCHA, you can limit earnings per performer. So the idea here is that once you've done one same thing again and again, you probably get bad at it. So you can limit things, saying like, okay, you can earn a maximum of $20 on this project for a day. So you limit, it's almost like limiting the number of hours somebody works. You can limit it either via earning or number of submitted responses. There are rules where you can, we're not going to apply it in this project, but there's something called non-automatic acceptance, where you pay the performer only after the task has been verified. So this is important for projects where the nature of the task is content creation. There can be many correct answers to tasks, so you can't put rules like control tasks, for example. Then you can also add logic around what do you do when you reject a task. Then we also have well, a lot of other rules: majority vote, how to process, skip assignments, and so on. Another, I guess I will put one more rule here, which is called control tasks. Remember earlier in the data set, I showed you that I have some golden answers. So I know answers of some of the reviews, and I'm going to use this to measure quality in my project. So what I will do is I will say, if I'll just make it simple because this is a simple project. If correct responses is less than 80%, I will ban on project for 1 day or more, 3 days for control tasks. So I'm done with the quality control section. Now I will move to the part where we determine overlap. So overlap is just how many people get to do the task, the same task. And you want to do this because we will do aggregation at the end of the process. I will just say, because this is a simple project, it's 3 overlap. It's possible to configure this dynamically, so we can set things like the overlap continues until 7 for as long as we're not reaching, let's say, 95% confidence in aggregation. So this is just an illustration of how we do it, but I will not run this time. Then there is this section for speed quality balance. So on the platform, we sort of rate performers based on their overall skill, capability, correctness on control tasks. And there's this meter that you can slide over to select which percentile of performers you want to take, because this is a simple one and we already selected the performer to those who have passed the English test. I will keep it at 100%, but just a good feature on our platform that we can play around with this sliding bar thing. The last part before I close this setting is the duration that people spend on a page, because I want to run this quickly and there are only 5 things. I will set it at 90 seconds, which is quite short. When you're done, you just save this page. And we are here in the summary pool page, where the only thing left before running this task is to upload our data set. So uploading, there are a few ways to do it. You can preset the combination of, there are 5 things on a page, the combination of which 5 tasks gets labeled at the same time, or you can leave it to the platform. You can set it manually based on the order that you uploaded, or you can leave it to the platform for us to mix it around. And remember this control task where you have the answers known, you determine the frequency of it appearing as a relative to the main task. Now I'm showing you how to do it in a static way. I'm just gonna say you show 4 main tasks and 1 control task, but this is configurable in the sense of you can make this to be dynamic in the based on the number of tasks that a performer have done. We can totally set up rules, something like, okay, if you're a new performer in my project, the first 5 pages that you will do will be like this. You see 4 main tasks and 1 control task. But later, once you're good at it, you're still complying with the skill requirement to stay in my project, I'm going to show you 1 control task every 8 main tasks, for example. So all of this is completely configurable, but right now I'm just doing it manually. So I have that same file. We'll upload that. And I just put this up to the platform. It's just saving things. Now we're still on the same page that things are summarized. One last thing we want to do before we see this running is to preview this to see whether things are working correctly. So first try, is the validation working? It's working. Can I submit this task? Again, are things shown correctly? Looks fine to me. So check is done. Then I will just get back here and see things starting. And while that is loading, I will just take you on a short tour with this page where nothing is like moving yet. So this page shows a summary of, okay, this is the approximate money that is cost of labeling 120 reviews. So that is loading. And we have a summary of all the rules we're putting in place, the client that is allowed, languages, English, those who pass language tests, all these rules, quality control that we put in place. So we have CAPTCHA, fast response, control tasks. That is how the tasks are being mixed. Then just a summary of everything. Now that is running. I will try to refresh this page to see this progressing. So I have just launched that, and you see it's already 2% moving. So there are 14 people who are working on this project right now, and 2 are actually done with it. So we launched the crowd 75 task pages because we have 100 main tasks, 20 control, and then we set up 3 overlap. So we calculated that it's about 75 pages, and out of those 75, 16 are already taken. So you sort of really see in real time, like right now, there are 3,000 people who have access to this project. They're live right now online looking at the project, well, amongst all other projects, of course. And you can really see this move very quickly. So second attempt at refreshing this, so you can see that the entire 75 pages are actually taken. So right now, there's no way for more people to access your project because 27 are actually completed. 48 other pages are already taken. So effectively, the 120 tasks you launch to the crowd is sort of like done because it's taken by everyone. And I understand, well, sometimes I get this question, you know, is this a live environment? Is this production? This is a live environment. And you can, well, it's just, I guess, practical illustration of what Olga mentioned, that we have really millions of performers working on the platform. So 82% done. And while that is loading, I can go to the statistics page, which shows you, well, it's a good summary of what is happening in your project. So people typically take 27 seconds, and there are just statistics here and there on budget spending. An interesting thing I would like to show you is quality. So this is quality reflected by control tasks. So it's 87%. To me, it sounds all right. To some people, it may sound low, depending on the use case, of course, but I would like to remind you that what I have put in place is a project with a very minimum quality control in place. So I purely have control tasks. I'm not training performer. My instruction is quite short. I'm not filtering performers based on exam. It's really, the filter is really like anyone who has the app, they have passed English tests, can do this project. And we are at 87%. And
Rosmi?
yes.
Yeah, we have a question. Maybe we can move. I mean, we can move to the Q&A part. if you're done with the.
Sure. So this is, well, 94%. Actually, just one last thing I would show. I mean, we know that this is like completing quite soon. So after this is done, we can run aggregation, just so to not like cut this stream of, I guess, showing what is happening here. So if you just download like a raw result, because we run 3 overlap, you can imagine for one line of review, you will get 3 answers, and you'll be like, okay, so which one is the correct answer? No worries, because our platform does that as well. We have 2 aggregation model. We have David Skin, and aggregation by skill is basically Bradley Terry model. So one sample of aggregated result that I have run previously looks something like this. So you have review, title, this is the result, and this is the confidence level that we have on the result. So we can see that, okay, it says overpaid, model is saying it's 100% confident that this is negative based on the answers from the crowd. So all of this you get from the platform as well. So I will just load that to see whether we are 100% done, and we're actually 100% done. So you can see that this was done, well, basically in a few minutes. So I guess at this point I can stop the demo and we can get to, yeah, to your point, Anna, to Q&A.
Thank you very much, Rosmi, for this great demo. Yeah, we have some questions, so I think we can move to them. So we have a first question. Where do performers come from? What kind of tasks can they complete? Ola, Rosmi?
So performers come from all around the world. So actually I will actually get back to the screen to share with you how it looks like. So this is like answers. So we have 75 pages. This is an answer response from a performer. We can get to a performer, and you can see that, okay, this person is from Russia, but we do have a good mix of performers. So we can check other and check like a performer profile. This person is from Pakistan, for example. So performers come from all over the world. What tasks can they do? Basically, they can do everything. And it's really up to you as a user of the platform to select which performers to do your task. So you can, again, put a pipeline where you create an exam. So let's say you have a complex task, you're not sure everyone can do it. You make people pass exam first before they have access to your live data.
I would probably add that, like, in general, we have a global crowd covering like more than 100 countries. And actually, it also depends on the time of the day when you launch. If you launch the project without any limitations, like in the evening, one time zone, there would be more people from one regions of the world. Another time, there would be some others. And speaking about what tasks they can produce, as Rosmi mentioned, we have a system of skills. So every Toloka is described by a set of skills, and you can assign certain tasks to people who have proven to have certain skills. And one of the trends that we're observing now is a trend towards higher expertise required for performing certain tasks. And we are growing the community of Tolokers who are like specialists in certain domains. If you, as a requester, have such a request, we can discuss it specifically to help you establish such a pipeline, which would allow you to address to only people who have certain level of expertise in certain domain.
Thank you. We have another question. When should I use training pool? Can I label without it?
You can. So, well, we like to encourage our requesters, users of the platform to experiment around. So if you think your task is simple, doesn't require too much thinking, or doesn't require like specific understanding of your instructions, if your instructions is short, you probably don't need it. If you have a longer instructions, do try to put training in place. Or a simple approach is to start without training, try to measure your quality. If you need more, build up on that. So we encourage this approach of using MVP type of setup. Don't overcomplicate it at start.
Thank you, Rosmi. Olga, would you like something to add to this question?
No, thank you.
Okay. Second, the other question we have, how are Tolokers paid and what is the frequency? Do they have a minimum amount of earnings?
I can probably answer. Like Tolokers are paid via the majority of most popular like money transferring systems like PayPal, Skrill, and many others. They do not have a minimum amount before they can extract money. Like it starts from 1 cent, I guess, which is quite a unique feature of our platform. That's why Tolokers really value it. And regarding the so they do not have a minimum amount of earnings before they can really get their money.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. One more question. Are there any aggregation methods in Toloka? Thank you for the webinar.
So we do have two embedded aggregation models in our platform. One is David Skeen, the other one is Bradley Terry. I understand in the community there are many debates about which one is better than the other, but no worries, we have both. And more importantly, if you prefer any other aggregation method, if you build one on your own, it's possible to implement it, let's say, via a Python library. So it's entirely possible. You can get results, raw one, aggregated on your end.
Thank you, Rosmi.
If I'm not mistaken, actually, this is something maybe that we can answer later. I guess in our Python library, we have already several more aggregations.
Actually, yeah.
Thank you. And the final question is there a community forum for Toloka? Basically here I could answer that we have our Slack community where you're all invited and welcome to join. There you can find many important information about the platform, about Python library, about our webinars, other events, and many other things. So you can see again in your screen, you can see the QR code to join our Slack community. And we have some more questions. Do we have 2 minutes to answer them? Ola, Rosmi?
So can I add a bit on community though? So I think
sure.
we also have a big community in GitHub.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. I can cover actually I can cover the later one. Can label data from Toloka be automatically fed into any type of machine learning pipelines? Answer is a definite yes, because we have a full set API. Everything that I showed you is available via API and via Python library.
Thank you, Rosmi. And the last question, yep, sorry.
I can try that as well. Is there a possibility for the requesters to explore other people's tasks for research and inspiration? Actually, yes, as well. You can definitely try to register to the platform as a Toloker, and you can see all of the tasks. Yeah. I think that's one good way to do it.
Thank you very much. So I think we're out of time. And I would like one more time to thank all of you, our speakers, Olga and Rosmi. Thank you everyone for attending our webinar. If you check the chat box, you will see that there is information about that today we give to all of you a promo code to try and use Toloka and launch your first projects. So you are like more than welcome to visit our website, use the promo code, and try to do this. Also, you can always contact us through our community Slack channel that I already mentioned, and contact us in our email. Also, you can find it in our slide. Thank you again very much. Have a very good evening, day, and hope to see you again in our upcoming events.